Good afternoon, party people. How's everybody doing? It's October and it seems a little warm to me today. It could be just me though. Today I was going to talk about my life before Slab City. What I was doing, where I was living 10 years ago before I moved here. I was living in San Francisco. I've been living in the Bay Area for most of my adult life. I moved there when I was, I think, at 23 years old. And I moved to Slab City when I was 52 years old. Actually, I was 51 years old. I turned 52 living in Slab City. But what I did in San Francisco, believe it or not, before I tell you this story, let me tell you this. I didn't look like this. I did have long hair, and both my ears were pierced. But in that city, you know, you pull your hair back in a ponytail and put on a suit and tie, and you could step into the corporate world. It's not that difficult to be in the corporate world in San Francisco and have long hair. So I was in property management. That was my main bread and butter. I managed apartment buildings on Nob Hill. I lived at Bush and Powell, just above Union Square. A few years, I lived a block over on Mason and Bush for a few years. I lived down in the Tenderloin, Post and Hyde, for anybody that knows San Francisco. That was an interesting neighborhood. But I managed a building that was built in 1922. It was a gorgeous building, 5 stories high. I also worked part-time, sometimes full-time, as a florist at the oldest flower stand in San Francisco, Paul's Flower Stand at Market and Powell. It's 27 years older than the Golden Gate Bridge. I also worked for a couple of artists that made jewelry and sold it on the sidewalk in San Francisco. I was an apprentice for a couple of those. And I worked for a painting contractor, and I painted interiors of homes and apartments in San Francisco. That's what I did before I moved to Slab City. I only meant to stay here a year, you know. I was going to go back to San Francisco and put my resume back out there, clean myself up, but yeah, it's turned into 10 years. Yeah, San Francisco's now a shithole. I mean, it was turning into a shithole when I left, you know. I mean, I seen the writing on the wall in 2008. By 2010, it was done, man. You know, when you're walking down the sidewalk in the Tenderloin and people pull their pants down, take a crap right in front of you on the sidewalk, you know, it's over. It's only gotten worse. San Francisco in 2020-21, or 2021, I should say. It must be a nightmare to be in that city. Although right now, I think it'd be a nightmare to be in any city in this great country of ours, the way things are going. I'm glad I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, you know. I don't know if you can hear the birds chirping, but the trees around me are full of birds, and that's all I hear are birds. Sunshine, fresh air. I got people taking a crap in front of me on the sidewalk, and tall buildings and all the noise and everything that goes with the city life. I could never go back. And not just San Francisco. I couldn't go back to any city. Although I love San Diego. Thumbs up to San Diego, man. Probably the best city in the state of California. if you want city life, yeah, I would say San Diego, California. Fuck the rest of this state. Yeah. Alright, folks, well, yeah, that's what I did in San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco before I moved to Slab City, and that's what I did to make a living. Peace and love coming to you from the beautiful desert oasis of Slab City, just above Mexico, party people. Have a beautiful day, stay safe, and really try to avoid all that craziness going on out there. I know it might be hard, but do your best. Peace and love.